Hi, this is Jane Johnson, founder of Ecclesia Framework. I just want to take you through an activation that you can reuse over and over to fully access the river of life and the full flow of life as spoken about in Revelations 21 and 22. And to understand more about the supply that comes out of the river and what the tree of life is with the 12 fruits, and Revelation 21 also talks about the another tree on the other side of the river. So the revelation and experience that a lot of us have had is that Jesus is the first tree of life, and the other tree is on the other side of the river is us. So we can arc over the river and form this flow that causes the constant fruits of the 12 fruits to flow into our lives, and also any provision or abundance that comes out of the river. So just place yourself now in that position as a tree planted deeply by the river, that you cannot move. You're a tree, you have deep roots. And that way we move away from hopping into heaven and moving out. But we want that 24/7 continual flow and permanence of drawing on the source of supply from Jesus. So plant your roots deeply down into the ground, so deep that you can feel them very strongly rooted and going right down to the aquifer, which is the water level under the ground, which we see again is another supply of the Godhead that we can tap into. And as we have a need, we push our roots deeper and deeper down, rather than allowing them to come up shallow and rushing around in the worldly ways to fix things, to do all sorts of things in the natural to fix our problems. We push our roots deep down to draw on that aquifer water supply. And we arc over, and our branches go over and entangle with Jesus's branches to form this beautiful connection that causes this flow. And we can look at ourselves and see, are we a bare tree? Are we a tree with leaves? Do we have any fruit on our tree? You can keep looking at yourself as you grow in this practice, and you may see change there. So pull the supply from Jesus of complete abundance. That may be love, joy, peace, patience, wealth, any characteristic that is godly, humility, perfection, full destiny, your scrolls, full unity of the body, all understanding the same blueprint, being on the same page. And you being in unity with the heavenly blueprint, you are completely open to what heaven has for you without having any agendas yourself. Complete freedom, complete justice. Breathe that in now. You can breathe. Well, you suck up like a tree. You suck up that water, but it kind of feels a bit like a breathing in. And then as you breathe in more, this flow begins to continue with the arcing, and you can feel as if you can breathe out the abundance. Breathe it out in terms of water, gold dust, seeds, living letters, fire. And this we're seeing is getting us into a beautiful state to learn how to bench with Jesus as a bench of two. In infinity, we've seen this is where we rule from, the city of Zion. So this is an important part of understanding the age of new beginnings and living out of the New Jerusalem with the river running through it. Seeing that you're the New Jerusalem, and as you get to get that flow going, you then form some ways of operating in eternity. So it has great value, this process. It may not always be where you seek your supply. We change as we deal with different spiritual ages. Don't hold onto it as a precious thing that will never change. As you mature, this understanding of you being a tree will change. Pull on that supply. Can you feel those beautiful characteristics seeping into your body such that you can release them onto the earth, because you're so full. And as you see your roots going deeper, can you see those roots going to form smaller trees that pop up? It's almost like you're stretching your arms out, but these roots are suddenly forming trees. You can multiply yourself on trees of life, on different mountains that bring life and governance to those mountains. And we know the leaves are for the healing of the nations. Just ask about the leaves. Do you eat them? Do you drop those leaves as you're arcing that fall into the water to release healing into the river of life? Ask if there's anything to do with the leaves that you need to do. And then we have the 12 fruits every month that are produced. you may wish to ask what those 12 fruits are. Seems very critical to me what the 12 fruits are, and that we grow increasing revelation and consistency about the understanding of those 12 fruits. They hold a very, very deep meaning that I see we must pursue with all our heart. We must pursue that revelation for ourselves, not just rely on what other people have said. We must, as mature sons, seek this revelation so that there is a huge body of sons that can actually say they've had these revelations, and we're not relying on one or two that may lead us down a wrong path. Draw on the supply of the river for that revelation. Is it around the characteristics of Christ? Is it linked with the star houses, the 12 star houses, and the story they tell? You can ask, is it linked with the 12 strands of DNA that are linked with the 12 stones on our breastplate? Let's seek this revelation with all our heart. And please share with us at our messenger groups if you get revelation. We'd love to connect with you. Let's work together as one united body, not independent networks that won't communicate. Begin to get confidence in what you hear, perceive, see, feel. Enjoy the perfection, the bliss, the flow of the beautiful abundance that is our right. Can you feel it now? Can you feel it flowing? This is the place to return to when you feel in need. Don't run to the world. Run to this arcing. Learn to become rooted as a tree by the water that will not wither when drought comes. Now it may feel a bit weird seeing yourself as a tree. It takes a bit of getting used to, but I think it's because it shows us how deeply rooted we need to be in Christ and not just accessing heaven occasionally. I found my spirit resisting initially. I wanted to be free as a spirit, free as a bird, just to go wherever I wanted, when I wanted. I obviously liked that independence, but as I submitted to this, I realized the immense benefits of the constant flow that I didn't have to really work at, because once the flow started, it just flowed. And this was the beginning of me understanding about being a water bearer, pouring out from eternity through the portal and a window, and understanding about benching. And as I submitted that personal government to God's total government, I wanted to be here and not flighty all over the place. It doesn't mean that you can't go to other dimensions in heaven, realms and places, and it doesn't mean that. It just means this is where your supply comes from. All of heaven is at your disposal to access, to learn from. But we leave a deposit. I see our spirit is always there in all the realms, all the ages, and we can return to operate at different ages. If we feel insecure, we often go down and operate at different ages. But eventually our spirit begins to settle in one age, and then we become more open in our journey to access other spiritual ages. And the more we want to understand about higher ages and higher realms, the more we see a bigger general blueprint that is for everyone. These mandates become the same for everyone, the basics of love, joy, peace, unity, abundance. This is operating in the age of new beginnings. You can operate in lower ages of the courts, ruling on Mount Zion in the age of rest. But this is getting used to the concept of the river flowing in us. Enjoy the bliss of this moment. And you can access this recording on YouTube anytime to help you go back and redo it again, to establish a new pattern of DNA that wants this more than old methods that you've done. You can find this at Ecclesia Framework.